Hey, hey, hey! So, welcome to my first book review. I don't think I've ever done a book review over here. Maybe I have. I don't remember. But I read this book recently, and it's like a real book, you guys. Like, in your hands, have to turn the pages yourself book, okay? Usually I read stories on Wattpad, and I do that, of course, on my phone. I don't have a device that reads, like, ebooks and stuff like that I can read on. Jason and I do listen to books on Audible. We have in the past. We're kind of slowly working our way through some books. We used to listen to them every night before bed, but since he got his new job with different hours, that's kind of changed a little bit. But even with listening to books on Audible and like reading them on my phone, like it's not a physical book, right? I have bought a couple of books that I saw on Wattpad that the authors were like, they took off of that site and they published them, and they're really good books, right? And I think I may have talked about one or two of, I think I did do a review on one of them. But this book is by one of my absolute favorite authors of life. It is called Liar Liar, and it is by one of my favorite authors, Lisa Jackson. So, this book is about, I will read you the synopsis. In death, Dee Dee Storm is finally getting the kind of publicity that eluded her in life. 20 years ago, the ex-beauty queen worked the Vegas Strip as a celebrity impersonator, too busy trying to make it big to spare much time for her daughter, Remy. Shortly before she leaped from a San Francisco building, Dee Dee's profile was rising again, thanks to a tell-all book. To Detective Danny Settler, it looks like a straightforward suicide, or perhaps a promotional stunt gone wrong. But Remy knows the truth isn't so simple. Because though the broken body on the sidewalk is dressed in Dee Dee's clothes and wig, it isn't Dee Dee. Remy was 15 when she last saw her mother. Their parting came in the aftermath of a terrible night in the Mojave Desert when Remy, who'd secretly stowed away in Dee Dee's car en route to meet her crush, Noah Scott, instead became witness to a mysterious rendezvous. Dee Dee handed over one of her newborn twins to a man Remy didn't recognize. Subsequently, Dee Dee disappeared, as did Remy's other half-sibling. Remy has pleaded with the authorities to find them, but there have been no clues. Yet she's always had the sense that someone is watching her. If the victim isn't Dee Dee, who is it? And what's the connection? Remy is shocked when Noah resurfaces. He was also in the desert that night, and now runs his own PI firm. He too believes it's time to find out what really happened. As they and Detective Settler dig deeper, the truth about Remy's missing family begins to emerge. A story of ruthless ambition and twisted lies that someone will kill again and again to keep hidden. So I got this book because I have read several Lisa Jackson books in the past. Love her writing. She is a great mystery author. There's not a whole lot of sex and like romance. I mean, there's romance, but there's not like explicit sex in here. There's kind of hints at it, and they kind of circle around it. But there's no like explicit sex scenes in here in her books, at least not in this one. So it's more about the mystery. It's kind of a thriller. This book was really good. I have to say, when I started reading this, I was like, oh my god. Like, I love Lisa Jackson's books. I've read them in the past, and they're very, very good. They keep you on the edge of your seat good. And this one was a little slow moving for me. I was like, oh my god, can we just please pick it up? Can it just happen? And then you get to about the middle towards the end of the book, and I was like, no, this is happening at an appropriate speed. Because if it happened faster, I would have been like, it's too fast. This doesn't make sense. I feel like sometimes authors rush things and they don't fully explain them out, and then later on you're like, why did this happen, when they could have done like a short scene or even an additional chapter or two, gone into detail, and it would have explained certain things, especially when you're talking about like a murder mystery. It's the little details. And I have to say, I'm always one of those people who read these books and I'm like, I know, because I watch true crime. I'm like, I know, I can figure it out. I can guess who it is, right? Of course, you have your suspicions like the whole book, and it's not who you think it is. And I have to say, I didn't guess until right up until like just before they said who it was. I was like, oh, I bet it's this person. And because after all the hints they'd given out, I was like, that's interesting. So I'm not going to reveal anything like that. But this is a great book. I did get this at my local library, which is why I'm covering up the little barcode thing right there. And as you can see, this is a hardcover book. This is it, like a physical book. You have to sit and read. I really enjoyed that too. I feel like, you know, we can get too attached to our devices, because even if you read stuff online, if the internet goes down, you can't read it, or you have to download it to your device, which takes up space. And, you know, there's just something about holding a book and like turning the pages that is just, it's so very entrancing to me. So I really like this book. With regard to other Lisa Jackson books, it's been a hot minute since I read, I think the last one I read of hers was Without Mercy. One of the other reasons that I picked this book in specifically, because the library had like a ton of her books, because she's written so many books. But one of the other reasons that I chose this book is because in her novel, they have a list of books that she's written, and they have like these are the books that she's written, and then they have like standalone. She has like standalone books, and then there's books that are part of a series. And this book was part of a standalone series, so you could just read it by itself. So I wanted just a book that I could read without having to read, you know, other books in front of it, or just to read, just get back into it, you know. I really enjoyed this book. Would definitely read it again. May purchase it. I don't know. It was a very intriguing book. I have to say, Dee Dee Storm, I don't know if they said that in the description, but she was a Marilyn Monroe impersonator. Like, she really, she wore the wig, like they go into very, very great detail. She impersonated Marilyn Monroe and did so very, very successfully, and it's a very twisted story. It wasn't hard to read. Like, the details about the murder could be maybe slightly gruesome, but I will say that no kids are harmed in this movie, or in this book, and there's no explicit, like, super graphic descriptions, other than, you know, when the woman falls off of a building, but there's no like torture, there's no anything like that, and children aren't hurt involved in this. So I think I'm gonna rate this. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars, you guys. I really enjoyed this. Lisa Jackson is a great author. If you're looking for an author who writes like murder mysteries or mystery thrillers that, you know, maybe it has like hints of sexual stuff in it, or like, you know, romance, but like not, it doesn't take it to the explicit nature of it, this is a good author to pick. Like, she writes it very, very well. Like, the plot was very, very, very well written. The characters were fully developed. I would actually like to read more about the characters in this book. So if she writes a second book in this series, I would greatly read it. I really love it. So I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Let me know if you've read any books by Lisa Jackson. Let me know if you've read this book, and if you did, what you thought of it. And if you read any other of her books, let me know what you thought of those as well down in the comments below. Like this video if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video, because you never know what kind of content is going to pop up over here on this channel. I thank you all so much for watching. I love you all very, very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!